Skyrock, your quantum solutions.
Angels on patrol.
Earth was formed for millions of years. It takes a blink of an eye for 15,000 stars to be born, and for 300 stars to explode. It takes just a blink of an eye for Earth to collapse. When an eruption happens, water migrates at the speed of light, equivalent to 10,000 ex-nuclear weapons. It is the same as an asteroid hitting the Earth. The North Pole and South Pole are not what they used to be. Sun is not what it used to be. From this point forward, the temperatures won't go down. And its Earthlings have come to a critical point of existence. And that's why we got extraterrestrial technology, with collective philanthropic effort and combined strengths. In 2021, we prevented Yellowstone from eruption. And we can prevent this. The best time to act is now. The Cascadia subduction zone is real. Act now.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Thought Stream on Skyciety, brought to you by Skyrock Galactic. Today, Kingzilla and myself, Ashley Dite, have a very cherished guest. We have masked his identity, masked his voice to protect him and others around him, as well as the technology. But a lot has been happening in the frequency wars, and it's time to let the people know. So we brought this good doctor on, who is brilliant, the best in his field, at the highest level of global intelligence, and making America safe, making the globe safe, redirecting natural disasters. And he's here to talk to you all so that you can prepare, so that you can keep yourself safe and also be in the know, because we care about you. And it's time to call everyone to action and everyone to awareness. This exists, this is real, and we're here to bring solutions. Doctor, thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome.
We've got some questions for you. First, can you explain what the frequency wars are?
Sure. You can just, on the internet, open the electromagnetic spectrum chart on the internet and look at it from the very beginning to the very end, and imagine the ability to induce any one item, and the ability to take that and multiply it, and to actually convert it into a medium by which you can shoot it at any region you want, or at any structure you want, or even individuals. All right, this is one way of using it. The other way is to trigger systems, to trigger mediums, to interfere in seismic waves, to interfere in atmospheric transport functionality. And that in itself is extremely hazardous, because it will devastate civilian aircrafts and military aircrafts. Anything to do with the tampering with atmospheric transport. But be as it may, we all heard about HARP and DARPA. So, someone got to take care of things, and someone got to do what needs to be done. That's not to say that others are not trying to do the same thing, and they are not even a government. And I believe you understand what I'm trying to say. It just, we're talking about interest groups trying to imitate what DARPA and HARP are doing and using it against civilians for profit. Okay? In light of that, I'm here to warn you that there is an existing technology. I don't want to say owned by who because it's inappropriate at this stage. It does interfere and induce seismic waves in any given region. This is just one part of the technology. The other part is atmospheric transport and the ability to manipulate weather and induce weather warfare. The amount of radiation that surrounding this particular technology is just unbelievable radiation. It can be all redirected downward at any given region or any given individuals or even buildings or even cities or even countries. And the last item of the technology is the neurological part. And that is the ability to actually override the brain waves and to actually tap in energetically and electromagnetically and to actually work on files already in the brain. For example, if you're doing intelligence work, then you would delete files or you can edit files. Let's say you work for the intelligence community, then you want to make sure that things are intact in your memory. But what if the other side is against you and want to delete this file so you have nothing to talk about to your government? Then they would just tap in and delete it. And it's deleted permanently, not temporarily, and it's irreversible. Irreversible. You can never have that file again. And that file could be your youth, your school years, your work years, your marriage years, and everything in between. And everything in between, I mean it, everything in between. So this is the kind of energy at work. And this is the best way to actually employ energy. But I'm here to tell you that employing energy for all the wrong reasons is not honorable. It is not honorable, and I don't like it, and I'm not part of it. We got to always encourage and employ energy to help people and to help governments and to enhance the quality of lives on Earth and to bring people together despite of the differences between people, authenticity, religion, culture, but we can just be united somehow, maybe through culture, through the internet, but not through using the wrong type of energy to harm people just to extract information or to undermine anything on somebody's agenda. I'm here to tell you that this particular technology is owned by a superpower, and I'm not at liberty to say which one, okay? But all the more reasons that the American people got to understand what they are up against. You have a lot of irregularities out there. You have a lot of ideas are being manifested and materialized into weapons. And that is extremely dangerous, hazardous. For example, MK Ultra. A lot of people hear about MK Ultra and start laughing. They think it's some kind of a joke, but it's not a joke. I'm a quantum scientist, and I'm telling you, it's not a joke. Especially if it is reprogrammed to harm. It is not a joke. So you have a lot of mind control technologies out there, and they are being used for the interest of certain groups, entities, governments. But that part, probably most of the people know about it by reading things on the internet. Let's talk about the part that they should watch for, especially with the rising global temperature. Isn't that what you guys want to talk about?
We definitely want to talk about weather warfare and how we can prepare our listeners and keep them safe during this time so that they can be aware and know what to do, how they can play a part and change. So, yes, definitely go forward. Let us know.
In my estimation, in my very humble estimation, the only way you can keep Americans safe is by actually having an entity in America that deals with technological attacks and technological calamities. I mean, when you have a technological attack, it's not the kind of attack that you would need security agencies to deal with. I mean, what is a security agency going to do against a technology that has geomagnetic hazard, atmospheric transport hazard, radioactivity, neurological manipulation into the human brain? What's a security agency is capable of doing against that? Nothing. They can write a report by all means, but that's the extent of their effort, writing a report. So I think the best way to keep Americans safe or safer than the way they are right now is by having an entity in the United States of America, in the mainland, an entity that deals with high-tech challenges, high-tech attacks, high-tech terrorism. High-tech terrorism is very important. You know, what is the definition of the word terrorism? Well, let's go to the dictionary and look for the word terrorism. Terrorism is coming from the word terror, and terror is the ability to terrorize you and make you scared and afraid so you can change your way of life. You can give up anything so you don't feel that way anymore. And that it could be your property, your car, your wife, your money, your way of life. When you are terrorized, you're willing to give up anything so you're not terrorized anymore. So because of that, we need an entity in America, an entity that deals with high-tech terrorism, high-tech challenges, high-tech outlaws.
Mm-hmm. That's what
And a
we come
security-
together.
With skyrockgalactic.space, where our listeners can check into, because that's what we've done with the doctor. And that's what we're doing with other engineers as well, because it has to come from a grassroots movement. It has to come from the ground up, from people who are good Americans who have gotten together and say, yes, we have this. Yes, we know about this. This is where we're implementing. And that's where you need to pay attention to, because we're all out here on the front lines getting it done for everybody. Thank you so much, Doctor. Can you tell us about Yellowstone?
Yes, and I haven't covered the global rising temperature. I think it's very important for your audience. So let's cover this one first, and then we'll go to Yellowstone. This subject, what I'm going to discuss right now, it is not exaggerated. It is not being exaggerated in any way, in any shape, in any form. Not too long ago, there was an attack on the sun. And that attack was done by certain evil non-human entity extraterrestrials races. And what they did, they chipped certain parts off and it fell down. As a matter of fact, if you Google that, you probably can get a couple of images off the internet. That's what was allowed to be viewed. Others are classified. So this was one way of inducing the sun not to function properly. All right. Now, there are other structures around the sun that were also mutilated and tampered with, and they have changed the functionality of the sun completely. We don't want to say forever, but I would say for a minimum of 14 to 120 years at best. Okay? This kind of tampering, we're going to pay for it with our own blood dearly. Is there any way around it? Yes, there is. There is a way around it. Now, we can be in a position to create a vacuum, and this vacuum has very special isotopes. These are radioactive chemicals, all right? And they are inside the vacuum. And what they do, they suck the sun inside the vacuum. The vacuum has two ends. One end sucks the sun, and the other end takes the sun into different compartments and different departments and units. One goes for medical technology, one goes for defense, one goes for aerospace, one goes for communication, one for energy, one for electricity, and so on and so forth. It's endless fields and industries. Endless. All right? This is the sun. By doing so, we need a system that can send certain frequencies back. All right? By sending these frequencies back, you're going to restore what was missing, what was chopped right off. All right? And the same thing with the irregularity with the moon right now. The moon is not functioning properly. It is no longer functioning properly, and that's exactly why you're going to see a lot of, instability and a lot of chaos in global oceans, seas, rivers, canals, North Pole, South Pole, the melting of the ice. 2024, 2025, 2026 are not going to be pretty. There will be a lot of challenges. Can we do anything about it? Yes. Yes. And I'm saying yes technologically, not on a personal level.
Well, Doctor, I'm glad that you have spoken on this because I have felt that there's things going on with the climate that just wasn't explained properly.
Error them and to fix them. And
through propaganda media. You know, I can remember clearly hearing scientists come on and tell the public that the earth is cooling down. And, you know, this is the reason why we need to shift into a direction using electric cars, because we as human beings have damaged our planet, and on and on and on. And I just felt that there was something very strange about some of the explanations for these climate changes. So I'm happy to hear what you have just said, because I personally felt that that stuff that was told to the public was off.
yes, my dear friend. Yes, you're absolutely correct, 100%, and I do agree with you. And what you just said is actually technologically correct, scientifically correct. So this is what we are up against as far as rising global temperature. We need to begin a vacuum, a solar vacuum, and a solar reactor. I have put together a document. It's about 67 pages. It's called Solar Reactor for America. Solar Reactor for America. And inside this document, it has everything to do with how to put the solar reactor together, how to connect it to the sun. And there's another item, which is space-based energy. If we are able to take space-based energy and funnel it down and use it as electricity, it's going to take a lot of pressure off the current system, the current setup. All right. And the pressure will be also taking off the entire region around the sun. It'll be less pressure. It'll be less everything. All markers are going to stabilize. All right. So I hope what I just said about rising global temperature would help all of your audience out there. We just need to support Skyrock Galactic, because through Skyrock Galactic, all technologies in America will meet. All scientists in America will meet. All technicians, all engineers, all researchers, all brilliance and intelligent people will meet through Skyrock Galactic. And we are going to do it. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to do it, because the science, we already got the science down. We already got it down. We got the technology down. The document that I put together for the solar reactor is a document that's supposed to be used very carefully. And it basically talk about using the solar reactor to do pretty much anything and everything. It will replace armies. It will replace electric companies. It will replace electric batteries. It will replace everything. The solar reactor is the world's biggest energy source ever being created. And the country that owns that, it'll be the world's most powerful country overnight. Overnight. So I dedicated that to the United States of America. The document simply says solar reactor for America. I just can't wait to implement it and build it through the right sources, the right connection, and under the right circumstances. And now we move to Yellowstone. Okay, Yellowstone. In August of 2021, there was a defense company in District of Columbia. Let's not say where exactly, but it was in District of Columbia, not too far from Washington, D.C. And they approached me because I wrote them a report in 2017 telling them exactly what's going to happen in Yellowstone, word for word. And what I wrote in 2017 started to happen towards the middle of August 2021. So they came to me with other federal authorities, including Geological Survey, United States Geological Survey, Environmental Protection Agency, and other governmental bodies. And we agreed to join forces and to get the job done, even though I was told by the CEO of the defense company in the District of Columbia that I told him, I asked, why did you come to me, David? David, why did you come to me? We spoke in 2017 and you didn't like what I was saying to you. And you acted all cocky about it. And I just, I blew it off and I forgot about you. Why are you coming back to me? He goes, because everything you wrote in the report started to happen exactly word for word. So I'm beginning to believe in what you're writing. All right. So he came and he said NASA dropped a lot of water right in the epicenter in the middle of the volcano and nothing happened. It became more ferocious because the energy source of the volcano is not on the top. It's on the bottom, which is true. It's true. The energy source of any volcano comes from the bottom. It doesn't come from the top. So if you drop a lot of water on the top, it has to make up for all the heat dissipation. It has to make up for all the heat dissipation. In doing so, it becomes more ferocious. And it sends a lot of heat to the ground. And the ground started to crack. And this is when they got scared. And they came to me. Long story short, we worked for 2 months and we have burned most of the magmatic reservoir. Have been burned. I am not at liberty to discuss the exact mechanism or the exact technology. Or the exact method. I am not at liberty to discuss that because it's highly classified. But most of the magmatic reservoir was actually burned, completely. All right. So, do you want to talk about James Webb or no?
Let's talk about the James Webb. And I also know our listeners have a lot of questions about the med beds, and I know that you're the guy to give them the hope on that. So let's talk about James Webb because it is important that they know. And then after that, we'll finish with a lot of hope with regards to the medbed technology before we close out.
Yeah, Medbed. That's my forte. All right, the James Webb, the defense company in the District of Columbia. After the Yellowstone was job number 1. I have done 5 jobs for that defense company, which works directly with the United States Department of State, the United States Department of Defense, and other federal agencies. So I was reporting to the CEO of the defense company. I was not reporting to the Pentagon directly because I'm a civilian. I'm not a military personnel. So they came to me. We did the Yellowstone in the middle of August 2021 until until October of 2021. And that was job number 1. There were 3 jobs in the middle, mostly defense and related to outer core cracks. Outer core cracks. At that time, there were about, I would say, about 7,200 outer core cracks worldwide. The production of heat through the core is what maintains gravity on Earth. And maintaining gravity is good for avionics and aviation and military aircrafts and civilian aircrafts and satellites and drones and anything and everything that is electronic or in the air, including pigeons and birds. So when that is altered, everything else falls apart. So the very fact that you have a hole between the core of the earth and the mantle, the very fact that you have a hole in there, and it's not just one hole. Today, we are almost 114,000, from 72,000 to 114,000. Those will induce volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, mudslides, all different kinds of seismic activities. They will interact with the moon, interact with the sun, interact with the planetary system, and the outcome is not pretty, because one engine is down, other engines are going to respond negatively to that. And the other engines are the moon, the sun, other stars, other planets, and so on and so forth. Okay? And that's exactly what's happening in the global ocean, seas, rivers, canals, and so on and so forth. All right? So back to the outer core. There used to be 7,200 outer core cracks when I've done the job for the government back in 2021. Today, it's over 114,000 outer core crack throughout the earth. Most of them throughout the North America, South America, Asia, and the Pacific Ocean. Speaking of the Pacific Ocean, about 225 miles from the Ring of Fire, exactly 225 miles from the Ring of Fire, coming from Asia, heading towards the United States. A crack started right there, and the crack started to migrate underground until it got to the state of California, and then it broke off and it went right under the state of California. And the other branch of the crack went to the South Pacific, where you have New Zealand and Australia and Solomon Islands and all these places. The one that went right on underneath the state of California is very aggressive one. And I'm here to say the cost of doing nothing is much more expensive. The cost of doing nothing is much more expensive. So it's our own interest to spend a little bit of money, just a little bit of money, and to do something about it, rather than just going to the movie and watching movie and just hanging out and forgetting about the whole thing. By the end of the day, if that starts to react, not only the entire state of California will be under the ocean. No. If it's only California, that would be, acceptable to a degree. I mean, not entirely acceptable, but to a degree. But this crack is underneath the ocean. And if it's not stopped and repaired and derailed and contained properly, it's going to continue towards the Atlantic Ocean. It's going to continue going until it gets to the Atlantic Ocean, dividing America not into two pieces, no, into multiple pieces, because the meeting of the Pacific Ocean waters with the Atlantic Ocean waters are going to hit with the force of 10,000 nuclear weapons. Okay? Any other questions, ma'am?
Well, let's go into the James Hubble telescope.
Yes, sure. That was job number 5. It was job number 5 and the last one with the Pentagon. We got the order from the CEO of the defense company, first name David, and we got right on it, because at that time when we got the call, they already cracked the mirror. The mirror already got cracked, and it was severely cracked, and they were going to lose the James Webb telescope. And we were actually told, guys, can you do anything about it? At least save the telescope. The hell with the mirror. Can you do anything about it? I said, all right, David, just calm down, man. We'll see what we can do about it. And we were able to derail the telescope and derail extraterrestrials to a completely different zone communication, because I am the only scientist in the world that owns a patent regarding communication with extraterrestrials through a frequency, a language of frequencies. Like it's an alphabet language made out of frequencies, and it gets mounted on a radio telescope, on an aircraft, on a drone. And what it does, it sends a carrier wave to a specified region, and then it's converted into a language perceived telepathically. It's not a sound. Like when you hear me now, you can hear noise. These noise are words that lead to a specific meaning. Their language is not like this. You don't have to make a noise so they can understand what the hell you're talking about. The way they understand, the way they communicate is telepathically, which is frequencies through their neurological system. A frequency enters the neurological system and gets converted to a meaning, to a real meaning, to a real alphabet. And that's what I have created and registered in WIPO, Geneva, Switzerland in 2015. It's a language to communicate with non-human entities, extraterrestrials, through frequencies. An alphabet out of frequencies. It's a frequency that compose enough frequencies to cover all the alphabet that they would need to understand what the hell we're talking about, or anybody else talking about. So the frequency covered all world's alphabet. Every single alphabet we have on Earth is embedded inside these frequencies. So we have covered all global alphabet, and we convert it into a frequency by which they will be able to receive, perceive, and accept it, and actually perceive it telepathically and understand the meaning of the message being sent to them. All right. Any other questions?
Wow.
Well, I
That's
have
amazing.
something that I would like to say, Doctor. Two things.
Yes, sir.
One, a lot of what you have said just now reminds me of a lot of books that I have read in the past regarding to the ancient days. I'm talking about going back 75,000 BC, where these extraterrestrials mingling and getting involved in human affairs had used this weapon of weather control on the earth before. Now, I don't know how true that is, but this is just what I've read in some books. So there's a lot of things that you have said here on the show today that's reminding me of books that I have read that takes me back to thinking this is possibly not the first time that this has happened with interference from something non-human involving itself with humans. And the second thing I would like to say is I could definitely identify with what you're talking about with these frequencies and how harmful they can be, as well as positive that they could be, because of being involved in music, mixing sound, being involved with different frequencies and how instruments and different things come across to your ear. And it's very serious business. Yes. You know, if you've ever traveled down the road while you're in your car and you're listening to a certain song, yes, you don't know why, but all of a sudden, maybe you're pushing down on the gas pedal harder. Maybe you're feeling anxiety now to get where you need to get faster. A lot of that has to do with what you are hearing and what you are receiving frequency-wise through the song. And I understand this type of thing from being in the music business for quite some time. That's one of the methods that's been used on the population to bring forth violence, anger, sexual immorality, all types of things. And it's really frequency driven. So I just wanted to intervene and just say that the things that you've said connects with me on these other levels as well. And I'm sure for some of our listeners.
Yes, sir. I do agree with everything you said. It's very intelligent. It's very brilliant. It is carefully calculated, especially scientifically. Regarding reading a book, this is true. My answer to you is true. It's a fact. And I'm just going to comment quickly on that. All right. So you were saying that most of these things through frequencies, it had happened because they believe that they belong to the earth. Yes, the one of the reasons for earth, their intended earth invasion. Okay, one of the reasons for intended earth invasion is their belief that they are the original inhabitants of earth and they are rightfully entitled to what is originally theirs. Well, to a degree, if you read the Torah, to a degree, the creation, before Adam and Eve came to earth, yes, they were on earth. Yes, they were on earth before humans. Okay, I'm here to tell you that when they first advertised for World War III, there was a reaction by the Council of Seven that if World War III broke out, there will be intervention. Well, we're talking about extraterrestrial intervention. The basically saying if any use of nuclear weapons at any level will not be tolerated and there will be an instantaneous reaction of extraterrestrials. That is something you can take to the bank because once they started to talk about, World War III and the possibility and the likelihood of going to World War III, that was given an immediate answer by them, that there will be an immediate response if anybody thinks about using nuclear weapons on Earth. Why? Not because they are in love with humans, no. Not because they are fearing God, no. Because the Earth is their original homeland, which is true. Before Adam and Eve came to Earth, they were there. When Adam and Eve came to Earth, God kicked all of these vicious creatures out of Earth to pave the way for Adam and Eve to have a brand new race. And so be it. So I do agree with the book that you read, and I do agree with your comments. And I thank you. I thank you for making this comment. It's really great. I'm very grateful for the question. Very grateful.
Well, I'm very grateful to receive the answer, Doctor, because it confirms a lot of things. It confirms that we are not liked by many of these things. I hate to use the word enemy necessarily, because not all of them mean humanity bad will. But what has been shown in my lifetime in reading and observation, there definitely are forces at work that have shown they have a dislike towards humanity. And when we start talking about what you just said so gracefully, God gave man dominion over this planet. That pissed some people off. Well, entities off. And it's been a constant battle ever since.
Yeah, but there is. I'm here to tell you that there is a huge possibility of making a deal with extraterrestrials. It's called a cooperation agreement. It is not just on energy, communication, and defense, or travel technology from Earth to space. No, it's on everything they own, and everything means everything. Everything means everything. I am trying to reach that. I am trying to reach with them. Whereas we can actually sign an agreement an actual agreement with them to cooperate and coordinate and collaborate and to participate on all technologies owned by them. All technologies. And in doing so, you have taken a very big enemy off the screen, because earthly enemies will be too small if these guys join forces with us. Earthly enemies will be extremely small and limited and weak if these guys join forces with us. And us here means the United States of America. All right? All my science, all my work is dedicated to the United States of America. All right? So I'm here to tell you that this would be the best thing that could ever happen to the United States, its people, its government, its intelligence community, and its allies. The day we can make an actual agreement, not even an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. No, I'm talking straightforward agreement with the other race, extraterrestrials. All right, you know that it's the same thing up there, just like it's on Earth. Okay, you've got the Council of Seven. Those are the ones who pretty much rule everything up there, and the final word is up to them, not to the other constellations. So those are the one we will be dealing with. Okay, but this is my dream. This is my effort. This is my gift to America before I die. My gift to America before I die, it'll be an agreement with those races to exchange all services, all technologies, all capabilities, everything they got to be exchanged with us. This is going to be my gift to America before I die, before I go.
Well, Doctor, definitely appreciate your efforts and what you are doing, because we definitely need to be able to move forward. And that sounds like a forward plan.
Before we close, there's a lot of people who have questions about Medbeds, and they've been asking, and I can share so much, but now it's time. Like, let's tell them what's going on with the Medbed.
Okay, in a nutshell, Medbed is supposedly a non-human technology. All right, it's a space technology, and it's a technology that utilizes several mediums that it's not from Earth, such as parts, circuits, and the like. The whole system's supposed to be not earthly system. Okay, and we have dealt with the Medbed as such for a long time, until the time comes to treat certain cases and the system failed. Now, we decided to make an additional unit to the system by which the unit will communicate directly with the red blood cells, white blood cells, brain cells, and internal organs on impact through an electronic needle or through the brain waves. So in doing so, you will be able to judge before and after. Let me tell you what's a before and what's after. Let's take a case like former President Ronald Reagan. There was a time when President Reagan did not recognize his own son, Michael, when he visited him at the hospital. Let's say we get a case of Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. You would show before and after, and that's a 45 minutes therapeutic procedure or an hour and a half. Same thing with cancer. Same thing with chronic conditions, infectious conditions. All right? Rare diseases, genetic diseases, all rare diseases, all genetic diseases, infectious, chronic, even terminal diseases like cancer, the stage 4. So all of these cases, cannot be dealt with at any reassuring level, conventionally speaking. If we're talking about conventional medicine, just go and say goodbye to your family. That's the most we can do for you. And that is heard throughout hospitals every day, not just in America, in Europe, and Asia. We need to talk about frequency medicine. We need to talk about complementary medicine, but mostly frequency. Mostly frequency, because a frequency medicine well, I have a question to ask everybody. At the time of Moses and Jacob and David and Solomon, have they had any of the hospitals we got in America? The answer is no. So how did they live? And I've heard that they were much stronger than us all put together. I mean, Prophet Moses alone, he wrote books about his strength and his power. Okay, not to mention Joseph. All right, not to mention David, Solomon. How did these people live without all the medical technology we got in America today? How? They were better people than us. They had better mothers than us. They had better food than us. No. We need to use frequency technology, and we need to use it as often as possible through Medbed by designing an additional unit to the Medbed. The additional unit to the Medbed will speak directly with red blood cells, white blood cells, all internal organs, brain cells. It will communicate with all body parts, and you'll be able to see everything on the monitor, on the screen, as you are doing a therapeutic procedure or session with the patient. You'll be able to get a printout of before and after. I will design this additional unit. I will design it for America.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Kingzilla, do you have any other questions for Doctor? I definitely want to thank you so much for being here today and giving us your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, I could spend hours talking to you. So I will wait for the next time we get to talk, because I know we have to wrap this up. But it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you. My honor. My honor. I'm honored. I'm honored to speak with you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
We want to thank all of the listeners and viewers of Skyciety. You can check us out at skyciety.space. This is ThoughtStream, and we definitely hope to have the doctor on. We know he's very busy getting the work accomplished, working on the front lines every day, toiling away. A very brilliant mind, and we're very thankful for you, but we're also thankful for you, our viewers, our listeners, because you chose to spend your time here, and we know it's your most valuable resource. We will be back, and we have a lot more to come. So brace yourselves, because we're bringing the facts, we're bringing the information, and you can find out what to do and where to go and all of the solutions right here on Skyciety ThoughtStream. Blessings.
See, I can teach you how to walk untouchable. I can teach you how to talk in scripture all alone. I can teach you what it means to live eternally. Only if you let me